Trunks came back to the past to warn everybody about the androids, and Cooler showed up too. But things are about to get really messed up. We'll cover all that and more in this fourth part of What If Everything Was Canon. And no lie, this arc kind of scares me the most because this is going to be the most brain-dead, hectic story I'm ever going to write, because there's going to be so much going on at once. Like, of course I'm going to try to fit everything together, but my god dude, there's so much to fit. 13, 14, and 15 know the other androids and Cell are active. Meanwhile, 16, 17, and 18 and Cell don't know about 13, 14, and 15. All 7 androids obviously want to go after Goku, but Cell also has the primary targets of 17 and 18 first. Thing is, Goku has already been recovered and is on the lookout. Training in the time chamber begins with Vegeta and Trunks going in first. Piccolo considers going to fight 17 and 18 right now, but knowing about the other androids, thanks to Trunks and Krillin telling them, they stay up here. It's a little bit too dangerous down there because they don't know what they're going to encounter. Now, before destroying the lab completely, they did get some blueprints, so Bulma's working on a self-destruct remote for 17 and 18, but it's not like she could really find out anything else about the other androids. They're not sure if Cell could absorb 13, 14, or 15 to make up for 17 and 18. Of course, they're fully mechanical, so he can't absorb them just like Android 16, but they don't know this. The android groups have different ways that they're going about things. Cell, of course, is laying low. 13, 14, and 15 start terrorizing cities, while 17 and 18 just go around robbing stores, basically. Not killing anyone, just causing some mischief. But the two groups happen to come across each other. While 18's busy robbing a store of all its clothes, 17 hears some explosions outside, so 16 goes to check, and that's where they see 3 other androids. 14 notices 16, and the other 2 are pretty surprised. Of course, they know of the other androids. They're all from the same place. Everyone was made in Jiro's lab. Now, 16 doesn't see this as an immediate threat because his only target is Goku, and these are technically allies if anything. They're Red Ribbon androids. But 17's a little bit wary about this. He doesn't like Jiro in the first place. After all, he was the one to kill Jiro personally. The newer 3 androids have obedience problems. They weren't fully loyal to Jiro. Android 13, on the other hand, is fully focused on fulfilling Jiro's programming, even if it means betraying supposed allies. Since 13's the first project out of all the androids here, he considers himself their elder. Now, unfortunately, the supercomputer has been destroyed, but it did gather enough data to know that 17 and 18 were responsible for killing Jiro. So while 17 and 18 are already on guard, 13 on the other hand finds them rude by default and thinks that they're enemies. He says they're clearly not going to get along, so why not just settle this now? 17 confidently accepts this. A 2v3 ensues. 16's only programmed to fight Goku, but eventually he decides to help out his 2 other allies. Now, all 6 androids here should have infinite stamina. We know for a fact 16 through 18 have it, while 13 through 15 are a little bit more iffy, but some guides and promo materials say that they have it, so we're going to assume they do. And of course, everybody else is watching from the lookout. It's pretty insane to see because they didn't expect a 3v3 android battle. They wonder where Cell is though. Piccolo is observing closely, trying to see if he could find him. As the fight begins, it's clear that 13 seems to be pretty powerful, but maybe they shouldn't have been so worried because the newer androids seem to be stronger. Especially without the help of the supercomputer, 13 and his group are going to be lacking. 16 is the most powerful of the androids, not just in his group but even over Android 13. And even 17 and 18 should be stronger than him too. 14 and 15 also fall pretty far behind. 17 effortlessly kills Android 14, and 18 kills Android 15. Android 16 then steps back. His help isn't really needed here. 13 is angered, but he doesn't back down. As 17 and 18 approach him, ready to finally kill him, he then smirks. The parts of androids 14 and 15 then float towards him. Unlike these 2 androids, he's got a really good trick up his sleeve, even if it means using the carcasses of his allies. 16 tells them to get back. Something's wrong. Android 13 then starts transforming, becoming Super Android 13. And now the tide of the battle completely turns. Android 16 then goes after him, but 13 effortlessly defeats him. And while the androids aren't producing any actual ki, they are making a pretty big racket, so Cell's able to eventually find them. He's watching from nearby, a little bit surprised to see another android here because he didn't know about Android 13. It looks like another unintended side effect of time traveling. But he might actually have to intervene soon because if Android 13 destroys either of the other 2 androids, Cell can't attain perfection. Meanwhile, those on the lookout are also thinking of intervening because they notice that Cell's nearby. They could risk it and wait for 13 to kill 17 or 18, which at this rate seems very likely, but they don't know if he's going to fully destroy them or not. And since Cell's nearby, once he strikes and absorbs either of them, they're screwed. Goku reluctantly decides that they should go down there. With the combined power of him and Piccolo, and even Gohan alongside them, they have a few options that might be able to hold off the other androids, or at the very least, kill 17 or 18. Their biggest objective is getting Cell away from those other 2. If they could somehow get 13 and Cell to fight, then that's going to be even better. Piccolo says this is really risky, but they don't really have another choice. Gohan and Piccolo grab onto Goku, as he then teleports down to the surface, using Cell's key signature to actually teleport. Cell of course is caught by surprise. especially seeing Goku right there and facing Piccolo again. He's grown stronger though thanks to absorbing more people, so maybe he could take them on, but with 3 of them together, he's not so sure. They give him no time to think. The 3 of them immediately jump Cell, trying their best to kill him. Piccolo then yells out to 17 and 18. He tells them to get out of here. There's another android that's lurking, and he's trying to absorb them. They're a bit confused, especially because these people are their enemies. But after seeing Android 13 absorb 2 other androids, it's not really too outlandish to think of. And then they see that Goku, Piccolo, and Gohan are fighting some green guy together. 16's pretty lost too, but 13 actually does know about Cell because the supercomputer was able to keep up with everything happening up until the point where Trunks and Krillin destroyed it. So they know who Cell is, and that Cell is here. Plus, it's a fellow project of Jiro's, of course he knows about it. 13 didn't exist in Cell's timeline, but Cell existed in 13's timeline. And then something unexpected happens. 13 tells Cell he wants to help him. You know, he has the directive to kill Goku, but the 2 of them could temporarily team up here. He'll help Cell get the other 2 androids to absorb, and then together they can kill Goku. Now, Cell doesn't really want to team up with somebody else, and he doesn't even know if he could trust 13, but for the time being, he accepts it, because once he actually attains perfection, or at least semi-perfection, he'll be more than strong enough to kill 13. So Cell lets out a huge burst of ki, knocking back the 3 fighters around him. Android 13 then grabs onto Android 18, flinging her as far away as he can. This way the other fighters don't get their hands on her, and she and 16 won't intervene. And then he gets a hold of Android 17, grasping him with both his hands, holding him out for Cell to take. 16 and 18 are too injured to help, but Cell rushes over to get him, with Goku, Piccolo, and Gohan trying to get closer. Cell's actually faster than them, but Goku teleports right to Cell, trying to fight him one-on-one. But Piccolo yells out not to get too close because Cell could easily drain his energy or kill Goku. Cell then lunges his tail out at Goku, but Goku narrowly avoids it. Although, the tail wasn't aiming for Goku. It stretches out even further, and then grabs Android 17. Cell then quickly launches a blast at Goku to knock him away, as he then starts powering up, becoming semi-perfect. 13 then looks around for Android 18, but then somebody jumps onto him. As Cell's in the middle of transforming, 16 yells at 18 to get out of there, wrapping himself around Android 13, and then self-destructing. Goku quickly snatches up Gohan and Piccolo, realizing their plan didn't work here, but it was at least worth a shot. They teleport back up to the lookout, watching from above as Cell's transformation completes, then followed by Android 16 exploding, as the area around them gets glassed and leveled. Super 13 is actually injured by this explosion, but he could still fight. Cell also gets pretty injured from it too, but he regenerates pretty quickly and even grows from this. They just hope that Android 18 got out of there. It's a shame Goku can't just teleport to her and bring her up to the lookout, because otherwise they would do that. He's mad their plan didn't work, but Piccolo tells him it was worth it. He has a feeling that Cell and 13 aren't actually going to team up, and if they didn't intervene, Cell would have definitely gotten the other 2 androids anyways, because 13 wouldn't have completely destroyed them, especially because he actually knew about Cell. But Goku thinks it's kind of weird. They've been watching how the androids act, and Trunks described them as being ruthless in the future. But 17 and 18 don't seem that bad. Sure, they were going around destroying things and robbing stores, but they weren't outright killing people for no reason. 13's crew and Cell, on the other hand, kill people with no remorse. Hindsight is 20/20, but of course if they knew this, they would have tried to team up with 17 and 18, keeping them safe from the other androids. Both because they're not as bad, and they can't let Cell get them. 13 admires Cell's new form. It looks like the 2 of them are pretty similar, absorbing androids to get stronger. But he tells Cell not to get any crazy ideas. Cell can't absorb him, he's fully mechanical. Oh really? What a shame. But he's glad to have a new ally. After all, the 2 of them have the same objective: uphold Jiro's plans and kill Goku. At least, that's what Cell makes it seem like. Cell then asks 13 if he wants to test out his power. Cell loves fighting, and he doesn't know if 13 gets the same joy from it, but why not have a little sparring match? 13's a little confused, but he goes for it. He kinda bit off more than he could chew. Cell seems stronger than he realized, so he wants to keep him happy. The 2 of them fly up into the air, going out into space. 13 would have never expected to fight out here, but considering he's fully mechanical, it makes for a better locale. He could survive up here and so could Cell. From the lookout, nobody's too sure what's going on because they can only sense Cell and they're too far away to see. They can observe the surface from the lookout, but not space. 13 and Piccolo do have a brief fight, and Cell actually was looking to test out his power here, but he also had another objective. He was going to kill Android 13 regardless. The fight out in space doesn't really go on for too long. At first, it seems like 13 and Semi-Perfect Cell are evenly matched, but Semi-Perfect Cell then showcases his true power. 13 realizes how badly he screwed up. He was naive to think that Cell would team up with him, but Cell tells him not to worry too much about it. Even if he didn't team up with him, Cell would have found some way to absorb 17 and 18, and he still would have killed 13 regardless. This way, 13 at least gets to fight a little longer and go out with more dignity. From the lookout, they're looking up into space where Cell's fighting. They could just sense his power and that's it. And then, they see a massive explosion out in space, as Cell's power then returns to Earth. It looks like he won that battle. And now he's on the search for Android 18. He had to make that fight really quick because he didn't want 18 to get too far. Thankfully, around the same time, Vegeta and Trunks exit the time chamber, with Goku and Gohan going in next. Cell gets closer and closer to Android 18 as Trunks and Vegeta find him first. Now, it's pretty hard to find Android 18 without a key signature, but she couldn't have gotten that far. Plus, she's trying to lay low, and Cell tries to get her out the same way he did before, by blowing up islands individually. Though now he has to face Vegeta, and the outcome of this fight with Vegeta goes pretty much the same way it did normally. Vegeta fights him, gets a little bit too cocky, Trunks tries to intervene, and Cell appeals to Vegeta. Krillin gets nearby with the remote, and he tries to find Android 18 as well. Again, a lot of this scene actually goes pretty much similar to normal. 13 actually served as a really good distraction, and no one could find her that easily, so one thing about Goku intervening is that it makes it harder for Cell to find 18, but it doesn't really help too much because Cell eventually is the first one to spot her, even before Krillin could find her. Immediately, he goes to absorb Android 18, with Trunks trying to stop him and Vegeta stopping Trunks. Krillin notices at the last second, and reluctantly he presses the button on the remote. Cell's already midway through absorbing her, but then her bomb detonates. Cell explodes, as Android 18 explodes too. Krillin looks a bit surprised, and Trunks looks a bit relieved too, although Vegeta's skeptical. Krillin thinks he actually did it. He didn't think that bomb would actually kill Cell, but considering that Android 18 was pretty much a part of Cell at that point, the bomb exploded inside of him. But Krillin was too late. First of all, Cell could survive that explosion. He regenerates pretty quickly. He was blown to pieces, but not really small ones. He wasn't fully destroyed. As the parts of Cell reform, they then changed to something else. Now, perfect. Android 18's parts still became a part of him. Even though she blew up, the parts were already inside of Cell. She died for nothing, and Cell laughs at this. Vegeta, Trunks, and Krillin try and fight him now, but nothing works, and this eventually leads to Cell announcing the Cell Games. Meanwhile, Gohan and Goku train in the time chamber, growing even further. Now, Gohan already has Super Saiyan at this point in the story. He got it a lot earlier on, so he has a way bigger head start than normal. So it only takes a few months for them to master Super Saiyan, and a few months after that, Gohan gets something else. For the first time, he ascends Super Saiyan, going into what he calls Super Saiyan 2. This training is actually more beneficial for Goku too, because he doesn't have to spend time getting Gohan to unlock Super Saiyan in the first place. He's got a stronger training partner from the get-go, and they also get right down to business. They don't have to wait for Gohan to catch up. But then on top of that, Gohan ascending Super Saiyan makes him an even better training partner for Goku. Initially, the two of them only spent 9 months in the time chamber, but in this scenario they spend even less time in there. They only train for 6 months. They don't need to go any further. Goku says there's no point torturing themselves when they've already gotten great gains. And even though they spent less time training, it's been more effective training. Goku's already mastered Super Saiyan, and he's at the point where he's supposed to be in terms of strength, maybe a little bit above that. Gohan, on the other hand, is stronger than normal, thanks to having Super Saiyan 2 earlier. Everyone's amazed to see Gohan's new power when they exit the time chamber, and Goku and Gohan learn of what happened, ready to battle at the Cell Games. It's great to hear that they have 10 days. Goku plans on using that time to rest. It should be a really peaceful time period, right? I mean, they've dealt with all the other androids, so who could they possibly fight in these 10 days? No one, right? Wrong. Goku's first order of business is to get a new guardian, so he teleports over to New Namek with some help from King Kai. And they're all really happy to see Goku, with Dende of course becoming Earth's new guardian. But just as Goku gets ready to leave with Dende, something really weird happens. The entirety of planet Namek starts shaking. Goku wonders what's going on, and he jumps up into the air. Floating above the surface, he can now see far over the horizon, and it looks like on the other side of the planet, there's a giant metallic mass that's attached to the planet. He's never seen anything like this. What he doesn't realize is that commandeering that giant mass of metal is the remains of Cooler. He could feel Goku's presence on the planet. Brilliant. What perfect timing. Unsure of what's about to happen, Goku first teleports Dende to Earth, and just to keep everyone safe, all the Namekians around him teleport to Earth too. The lookout is pretty crowded right now because it has all the people waiting for the Cell Games, and now all the Namekians that Goku found. Of course, he couldn't get every Namekian off the planet, but this is enough. Dende starts work on a brand new Shenron, as Goku then asks everybody for help. He's not sure what's about to happen on Namek, but they need to help save the planet once again. Piccolo's now in the time chamber, and Vegeta and Trunks are about to go back in to try and surpass Goku, but they decide to join along with this. Gohan's actually the strongest of them right now, and they could use his help, but Trunks says it might be better if Gohan stays on this planet. Just in case Cell actually doesn't keep his word, they need someone really strong here to fight against him, and Gohan's their best bet. Even though Piccolo still is here, they're not sure how strong he'll be when he exits the time chamber. So, Gohan stays back, as Vegeta and Trunks join Goku to go to planet Namek, as the Big Getty Star and Metal Cooler await them. With that, we'll leave off here for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's gonna happen next? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel, and it shows me you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.